Two girls with attempted abduction stories. Police conclude that they were making it all up. You'll hear from the investigator. And BSI and the cane farmers, they agreed to appoint a mediator. But they still can't agree on who the mediator will be. Tonight you'll hear why. Plus, we'll go on the relief route with the Belize Red Cross to find out where the hurricane hit the hardest. Also, former Compal Wiley had his own little armory inside his village home. We'll tell you how it got burgled. We've got details of these and other stories in our newscast for tonight, Thursday, November 10th, 2022. Good evening. With your news, I'm Indra Craig.
This newscast is brought to you by Cellular World, your authorized Samsung distributor.
The season where allies become rivals is here. Get ready for the FIFA World Cup 2022. Enjoy exclusive discounts on TVs and accessories just in time for the World Cup. Whether you're on the market for a 32 or 65-inch TV or one in between, we have all the sizes in stock now. 32-inch TCL Smart TV start at only $519 and 32-inch Samsung Smart TV at only $599. Love the game even more when you upgrade your entertainment experience with our Premier TV wall mount starting as low as $39 and our affordable surge protectors for only $35. Take advantage of these deals and visit us at any of our Cellular World stores in Belize City, Belmopan, and San Pedro, or shop with us via our virtual store using Facebook, Instagram, or WhatsApp at 615-5141. Promotion ends December 17th.
Skip the trip to the bank and perform cash withdrawals at your neighborhood store with Atla Express. Withdrawals are now free, and customers can withdraw up to $300 daily. All you need is your Atlantic Bank Visa debit card along with an ID. Atla Express is easy, convenient, secure, and near you. Atlantic Bank, building the future together.
I must be dreaming.
Oh no, honey bun, you're not. Everything you hear so far, that's true. Delta Store has a new look. Delta Store is at the same location, right down Albert Street. Delta Store has a wide variety of fabric. Delta Store offers quality and savings. Everything in a Delta Store is only $4.99 or less. Snap out of that dream and head on down to Delta Store today.
Join us tomorrow and get in the Settlement Day spirit with Aurelio Martinez. Central America's most celebrated parrandero will perform his classic hits in an intimate acoustic set, live on Sunup. So join us at 6:30 for Aurelio Live.
Mr. Ronald Gordon, our Chief Met Officer, confirmed that Lisa made landfall at 3:20 p.m. yesterday, 3rd November, 10 miles south of Belize City.
The impact of Hurricane Lisa on Belize City has been devastating. Families' lives have been disrupted. People, livelihoods, business livelihoods, obviously has been severely impacted. The goal really is to transform these hurricane weather-beaten streets and neighborhoods into livable, traversable spaces again. Getting back to some measure of normalcy. It's a wide cross-section of partners encompassing both public, private sector, of course being led by the government of Belize, the Ministry of Infrastructure. We have NEMO with us, we have CEMO, we have the Belize City Council, the Orange Walk Town Council, the BDF, the Coast Guard, and a wide scope of other partners. obviously their efforts here today is being met with great enthusiasm and optimism by the people of Belize City. For us at SIDCO, it means more muscle on the ground to achieve the task. We face one of the greatest natural disasters ever brought upon the city. In my lifetime, in their lifetime, we face it together. Now it's even more important that we face the recovery process, the rebuilding process together. We must exercise patience on all our part.
The next time you're passing creative marketing at 146 corner of East Colette Canal and Alenby, don't be shy. Come on in.
Welcome to Creative Marketing, where everything is possible.
We offer services like graphic designs for logos or banners or any other special request. Get designs printed on t-shirts for sporting events, special events like birthdays, or for your business. Get your polos or dress shirts officially embroidered with logos or business names. For special requests, our sewing department can get you fixed up with custom preferences. Our in-house name brands like Eliani's collection produces uniform dress shirts and blouses. For work or school, our Z-Tech Sportswear produces fisherman shirts and dry fit polos for males or females. Ask about other items. In other departments, we produce customized banners and pin feathers. At Creative Marketing, there's so much more. So next time you're in need, come take a look. Call us at 207-2023, like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram. Creative Marketing, where everything is possible.
Belize, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
Yesterday evening, the city was abuzz with 2 voice notes from a ranking police superintendent. She was telling a school chat group about the report that a female student escaped an attempted kidnapping on Central American Boulevard. Couple that with the previous day's report from Orange Walk that a 6-year-old student in that town had been briefly abducted by a mystery woman who lured her with an ice cream treat, and both society and social media were tumbling between panic and hysteria. But this morning, the police press office said nothing nagoso. Press officer ESB Fitzroy would issued a statement saying, quote, "There are 2 voice clips being circulated where the voice is identifying herself as a police officer. The alleged warning being circulated is not authorized by the Commissioner of Police nor this office. Both alleged situations in Orange Walk Town and Belize City have been investigated separately, and both have been proven to be far from the truth. In Orange Walk, the minor admitted to telling a lie after she realized that the police had her mother and her mother were looking for her after not being where she was supposed to be. The alleged attempted kidnapping in Belize City was done by a student who was being truant instead of going to school and decided to lie when she was found out. So, there it is. Much about nothing and nothing more than usual childish fibbing, actually. The 12-year-old girl in Belize City case was questioned by police, but her story was full of holes, and much the same for the 6-year-old in Orange Walk. Today, the deputy head of National Crimes Investigation held a rare press briefing to resolutely debunk the rumors.
We have investigated both matters, and we found out they were not true as to what we had expected, that they were fabricating both stories, one in Orange Walk and also in Belize City. And we will be visiting their parents and we'll be talking to them about the situation, because this information is very, very serious that we take. And if you make any false report to the police, you can also be dealt with for that.
And the photo circulating of the black van, there was no such black van in Belize.
Right. Well, like I said, it is we have conducted the investigation that was proven to us not to be true. Hence the reason, Mr. Vasquez, we're resorting to the media outlet to put it out there to ask members of the general public, parents, guardians, and even the school wardens, that if in fact any of this situation may occur again, that we channel this information directly to the police and have the police be able to investigate this matter almost immediately. And then we will see where it goes from there.
It is not expected that any charges will be brought against the persons who made the false reports. The police urge anyone with such a report to feel confident in making it, but to go to the police before Facebook or WhatsApp chat groups. There was a big money robbery this morning on Mahogany Street, and it happened just a block down from the police substation. At about 11:45, two men robbed 32-year-old Chandra Prakash, who was doing cash pickups at CK Supermarket. Two men on bicycles rode up on him. One of them pulled out a firearm and demanded his bag. The other man then slid in and snatched the bag, which contained more than $20,000 in cash and $15,000 in checks. The men then rode off in different directions on the always busy street. Police have not made any arrests. Last night, we showed you the comments from Alfredo Ortega, the recently elected chairman of the Council of Management of the Belize Sugarcane Farmers Association. He was responding to questions about the latest attempts to resolve the impasse between his BSCFA membership and the millers, Belize Sugar Industries Limited. As we told you, their commercial disagreement, which started heating up several months before the start of the last crop season, escalated into a very costly protest, which happened just before the first sugarcane deliveries were scheduled to take place at the end of last December. 11 months later, the two sides are no closer to resolving this dispute, despite extended intervention attempts from the Briceño government. So, in the hopes of a last-minute compromise, the two sides have agreed to include an independent mediator to help them bridge the divide between their respective positions. But even the process of identifying a suitable candidate for mediation is delayed. Now, the two sides are pointing fingers at each other for the significant amount of time that's not being spent resolving their differences. Yesterday, the BSCFA chairman alleged that the millers aren't treating this mediation issue with the proper level of urgency. BSI-ASR responded with an extended rebuttal press conference via Zoom teleconference this afternoon. And here's how ASR's Mark McClellan insisted that the mediator delay is not their fault.
We have called that we have a mediator. We have reached this point and still yet BSI is playing jokes on not coming to the table so that we can get into an agreement who will be our mediator so that we can continue.
I have to be careful about what I say about mediation because we had agreed with the BSCFA that, we would not go into great details on that issue. Look, it's in all of our interests to get this issue resolved. Nobody wants to have interruptions to the next crop, least of all the mill and least of all cane farmers. The prices are pretty good right now, and it would be a travesty if we ended up in another illegal blockade as we did last December. When it comes to mediation, all I can tell you is that there is a name around and we've agreed it. And we've been waiting for several days now for the BSCFA to respond. So I'm not sure about foot dragging. I think the mediation could have started by now, to be honest with you. And, we welcome it because I think anybody who looks at the facts and the figures that underpin what would become a commercial agreement, I think would very much see things for what they are. And that's that a lot of the investment that we've made over the last 4 or 5 years is really helping to grow the pie so everybody gets a bigger share of it. And I think the cane price for this current last crop is testament to that. There's not many people get a 30% pay rise, which is the equivalent of what happened there. So as far as we're concerned, look, we don't want any kind of interruptions. We don't want any problems. We want to have, a fair outcome. And all along, we've offered a series of suggestions to BSCFA. And frankly, if anyone's been dragging feet, it's been BSCFA who have been very slow to respond to some of those issues and have continually failed to provide any kind of economic rationale for what their demands are.
These vast differences of opinion between the two sides have persisted for over a year. And as any regular news watcher will know, strife in the sugar industry between these same entities dates back decades. So, with so little time left before the required start of the next crop season, it appears that they won't arrive at a signed agreement in time. That's what conventional wisdom would indicate, but if you ask ASR's Vice President of International Relations, well, he'll tell you that there is more than enough time left. The press challenged him on that optimism, and here's how he responded.
I don't think there's any reason why we shouldn't have a long-term commercial agreement in place before the beginning of crop. If people are reasonable and if people are demonstrating common sense and rational thought, I really don't see why there should be an issue. I'm not quite sure why it's taken so long. I mean, we have made it clear all along. We as a mill, same as farmers, have come through a number of difficult years for the sugar industry because we are exposed by about 80% to the global market for sugar. So that's what dictates our revenues. It dictates the cane price in the end. So, you know, as a mill, we've come off the last 5 years of consecutive losses. So, frankly, some of the demands that are being placed before us are not credible. And I think, you know, if we can, maybe with the help of a sensible mediator, then, you know, maybe that, you know, the two sides could look at each other's positions and come to a better outcome. But I don't see there's any reason why that shouldn't be reached before the crop, to be honest.
From the mill's perspective, what happens if the next crop season starts and the BSCFA and ASR, BSI don't sign an agreement? Will you be able to accept their deliveries?
No, it's evident we can't accept cane without a commercial agreement because there would be no way of paying for that cane. There's no commercial basis on which it could be processed. So, look, I think it would be very much unnecessary to get to that point. That's what I've been trying to say. And we might call it optimism. We might call it realism. It's in nobody's interest for there not to be a crop. It's not in our interest, certainly not the farmers' interest. I mean, we've done everything we can, but still a demand comes to us that is completely irrational and without any economic justification.
Later on in the news, we'll have more from BSI ASR's afternoon press conference, and also coming up, we'll tell you about the guns they stole from former Paul Wiley's house. Also, we'll go on the relief route with the Red Cross when we come back.
It's an massive season with massive deals and rewards at Penny's. From now through December 31st, earn double P-Bucks on store-wide purchasing every Friday and Saturday. That's right, 2 times the P-Bucks, which means 2 times the cash back when shopping at Penny's. Plus, get even more rewards with P-Bucks Builders on home goods, tiles, appliances, paints, and lights. And don't forget, there's also massive deals and discounts on tiles and the best brands in paints like Benjamin Moore and BH. Rewards, deals, P-Bucks. You can get it all this massive season only at Penny's, celebrating 75 years of quality and savings.
Atla Express es un servicio que te permite realizar transacciones financieras cómodamente en comercios cerca de ti. Con Atla Express puedes retirar efectivo, realizar pagos de facturas y tarjeta de crédito, comprar recargas y transferir entre tus cuentas. Solo necesitas una identificación válida y tu tarjeta de débito Visa de Atlantic Bank. Si no eres cliente de Atlantic Bank, siempre puedes disfrutar de este servicio pagando en efectivo. Atla Express es fácil, conveniente, seguro y está cerca de ti.
Boy, I have a story, it's a true story, but me got a story that I need to tell. Boy, I needed some cloth and some material for sew me curtain, I needed some help. Boy, I was up and down all over the tongue and up and down and searching around and up and down all over the tongue and up and down and searching around. Then I come to Mikado, I couldn't get in a Mikado, the people rushing in a Mikado, I fight for getting, and when I get in, I couldn't believe it. Why? Mikado got it. Why? The best in the fabrics. Why? Mikado got it. Why? With better prices. Why?
Our teams at BEL continue to serve you as our communities rebound from the impacts of Hurricane Lisa. We stand strong and resilient, determined to restore service to all our customers. We thank all of our affected customers for your patience and understanding during our recovery from Hurricane Lisa. BEL, we continue to serve you.
Join us tomorrow and get in the Settlement Day spirit with Aurelio Martinez. Central America's most celebrated parandero will perform his classic hits in an intimate acoustic set, live on Sunup. So join us at 6:30 for Aurelio Live.
We were born connected to the water, the deep blue, the soil, the salt air, sheer abundance, ritual, water, expectation of the catch, the wind and waves. What lay beneath filled our bellies, sustained our communities. But song fell to a whisper. Her rituals were lost. Communities changed. But now, that song beckons us back to the sea. The generations that came before, and for the generations still to come. Thriving, abundant sea is possible. Rebuilding fish populations can be our legacy.
Please, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
A burglar broke into former Police Commissioner Alan Wiley's house in Lemonal Village on Sunday and stole 4 guns. Tonight, police have recovered all of them. Wiley is presently out of the country, and on Sunday, the caretaker who does daily checks on his house found that the grill door had been pried open and the house burglarized. Wiley told police that he'd left 5 guns inside, a 12-gauge shotgun, a 16-gauge shotgun, a .22 rifle, a 9mm Sig Sauer pistol, and a 9mm Glock pistol. Police only found the Glock still inside and launched an investigation to recover the others. Today, the deputy head of NCIB told the media what they found.
Police have since recovered 3 of the firearms were in the bypass area by Orange Walk, within Orange Walk jurisdiction, and 1 next to the mother-in-law residence within the Lemonal village. We have 1 person detained. He's pending charges for the offense committed. We know that he's a resident of the said village. I'm not certain if he's a person who knows the layout of the residence of Mr. Wiley. However, we did our investigation, and that led to him being detained.
Did Mr. Wiley follow whatever regulations need to be followed in regards to firearms?
We believe that he did in fact follow the protocols when it comes to the safekeeping of firearms. We will continue following up on that safety issue. And if needs be where he would have to be spoken to, then we will just do that and move on.
A television and an assortment of liquor were also stolen. We should note that the burglary occurred when the village was under a blackout. A policeman has been charged for perverting the course of justice. The charge comes after an incident early on the morning of Friday, October 28th, when shots were fired in front of the Marina Towers. Police say a group leaving the Thirsty Thursday nightclub drove into the direction of Midtown Restaurant and someone fired several shots in the air. A patrol team responded immediately and intercepted the van at the corner of Freetown Road and Douglas Jones Street with 5 passengers, a licensed firearm, and a few live rounds inside. Police later charged 33-year-old Yabra taximan Marvin Domingo for discharging a firearm in public. But the story doesn't end there. It seems that a policeman took the licensed weapon and stashed it. That's why, almost 2 weeks later, 28-year-old police officer Herman Ramos of West Canal was charged for the crime of perverting the course of justice. And in storm relief news, we toured the city with the Belize Red Cross today. As you probably know, that charity organization runs on volunteers and donations. And after Hurricane Lisa, they've been on the go searching for those households that are in the greatest need. Today, our news team went along with them on the relief route as they found those in Belize City who may have lost their roofs, their appliances, and even their homes. Courtney Menzies has this story.
It's been a week since the all-clear was given after Hurricane Lisa ravaged the Belize and Cayo districts, and the Belize Red Cross have been on the streets ever since. They're working along with NEMO to provide relief to storm-affected residents, filling the gaps that were missed. But unlike the government organization, they do things a bit differently, handing out packages while simultaneously assessing the homes that were battered by the hurricane.
At the moment, we're currently distributing mattresses, blankets, tarpaulins. We're doing cleaning kits, hygiene kits, kitchen sets. We do clothing, food items, and non-food items. We do an assessment of your locale before we distribute supplies because, bear in mind, we have very limited supplies. We want to ensure that people get exactly what they need and get it where they need it. So we don't give out, with the exception of clothing, we do not give out any resources at the headquarters. Those are distributed on site. So what the team does is the team will come with their mobile stocked with the supplies to be given out that day. We will visit each home in a particular area. We do that systematically. We will do the damage assessment, and then we will determine via that damage assessment what sort of relief is needed and what sort of relief we can supply.
And while they visited a number of areas in and out of Belize City, today they were in the areas of Conchal Bay and Ebony Street. And once the residents saw them, they rushed to try and get one of the cleaning kits being distributed today. And though they were grateful, they're still in need of a lot more materials to get back to normalcy.
I watch my zinc dust, me raise up and thing, I slam down back up, I raise back up, I slam down back, you know. And my lady, me frightened, you know, she made tell me to make it with my gun, but I tell her I thought I don't really is nothing major because I know the storm because I'm a fisherman, you know. Due circumstances, like, for instance, if I'm a category 2 or so, more or less I would have gone somewhere from the day before. But like I noticed that all the category 1, well, I said, Bistin, we waited out.
You got some cleaning supplies today. Tell me how you feel about that.
They are good hands because you help me make I could wash up and wash my clothes and whatsoever, you know, clean up and so on during the hurricane. I would have liked some zinc and some, you know, material. For instance, the zinc and like some big plywood. That's what I do good, make I just fix up my home.
When we come back, I inspect my house up here, so, and the plywood me fly off. And then I ask my nephew to put that up there for me. But as you can see, the house all. So when they try and nail back the nail in the board, when they hold it up, that one rusty nail. In our hole, so we put that and the zinc fall over there so to cross it so that me lift up. Yeah. I need so zinc and plywood. My bed me wet up. Yeah. Need a mattress, 2 mattresses, one for my daughter, one for my grandbabies. And me and they sleep together.
So what did you get today for Red Cross?
I gave Ali nice goodies for them. I appreciate. I love it. Thanks very much. to Belize Red Cross is a little help and thing, yeah. Just want to get in our nice house by Christmas, man, because it leak as you can see in my room over there, so on my daughter bed, my sheet do over there, that leak too. Yeah, that leak. Back there, so, the French me gone, then my washing machine, that can't cross the next side of the neighbor. That not work again.
And while the Belize Red Cross is trying to reach as many households as it can, it's impossible to help everybody, especially since most of their workers are volunteers. But with storms becoming more frequent and more deadly, they're going to need a lot more help.
We work on pure volunteerism. It's just really people doing so out of the goodness of their heart, because even though we're working along with NEMO officials, these are paid government officials, whereas our staff per se, or our human resource power, is predominantly volunteers. We really, as the Red Cross, as a charity organization, want to stress that we are doing the best we can with the resources we have, but we really would like to look locally and even in the bigger picture for funding to support the work that we do, because now the work that we do is becoming more frequent, in terms of disaster relief and disaster response, and that is simply because of the climate crisis. The majority of donations and funding came from just donors in the public. So we really want to stress that while people are looking out for us to come and give help, we need help as well.
But even with resources stretched thin, the Belize Red Cross was able to assess dozens of homes in Belize City today, and even supply those in Vista Del Mar with mattresses and more supplies. Courtney Menzies, 7 News.
As of yesterday, they have provided relief supplies to 1,965 residents and have assessed over 500 families. Some of the donors have been the U.S. Bureau of Humanitarian Assistance, which supplied cleaning supplies and mattresses, Swamis, which gave thousands of uniforms for school kids, IDB and the Caribbean International Brewery, who made financial donations. And right now, the Belize Red Cross is still taking donations, either financially or in the form of children's clothing, sheets and towels, hygiene products, and food. While the Belize Red Cross was on the relief circuit, Cane Farmers Association were back in Belize City to help with the cleanup, because there's nothing that a few dozen caneros along with some machete and the machine they call a tractorvator can't clean up in a hurry. It went so well yesterday, their hosts convinced them to return for a second day today. We spoke with the BSCFA chairman and his colleague who were back in the Kings Park area this morning. He told us that the farmers helped the council to remove over 130 trucks of debris from those city streets.
Yesterday was very good, because we see that the people that came along with us were really pushing to see that we demonstrate that we came to work, and we managed to clean up the area where we were working along with the BDF and police, or the Coast Guard, I think, that was along with us. And it really demonstrates that whenever you come in unity, many things can happen. And I think that we really achieved yesterday what we wanted to do. Now we can see, all of us that participated yesterday, we can see how great the damage can be, even with a Category 1 hurricane. What I can say that we managed to clean at least 6 to 7 roads that had a lot of debris upon. And really, it was a huge amount. I think that we managed yesterday, even though we started late. I think that by the time we finished yesterday, we had already sent maybe in the vicinity of 140 truckloads of debris outside the city. We have been accepted very good by the residents, and I think that they have seen the effort, the work that the Cane Farmers are doing, and they are really pleased with what is going on, and that is why, because of the plea of the people and the minister, and the city council, we are here today. It's the same area where we worked yesterday. We're expanding on the area, and according to the city council, they send us over here because there's a lot of big trees over here. And it's true. Presently, we're helping an old lady. Well, I wouldn't say an old lady, but one of our senior citizens in there cutting a branch that fell into her yard.
As you heard, a senior citizen requested their aid to remove a downed tree that fell into her neighbor's yard and damaged a fence. She wanted to thank the farmers for their kindness. Here's what she had to say.
I am thankful for the help that I get because I have nobody else to do it for me. And yesterday I asked when they were cleaning out there if they could cut the tree for me, and they said they will do it today. But I didn't see the young man with the machine, so I went around the other side to look for him. And then he got the machine and he came and he cut the tree for me. I am so glad and thankful for the help because all the dirt that we had out there, everything we had out there, they took it. So I am glad they left their home to come down here to help us. And I ask God to continue bless them, that they may continue do work like this. I don't want them to leave their job, but because they have to make money for themselves. But it's really good to have them come here to help us out.
And while the cane farmers have been generating goodwill in the city, they're still locked in that interminable dispute with BSI. Early in the news, we showed you remarks from the management of ASR BSI on the impasse. Part of the conversation focused on the views of the millers that if they agree to the counter-proposal from the BSCFA on a new revenue-sharing mechanism, they have to transfer $20 million in value to this group of farmers. The millers say that this proposal would drive them to bankruptcy. And today the media asked ASR's Vice President of International Relations to explain that explanation. He said that what the BSCFA farmers are asking for is for them to subsidize the production cost of higher quality sugar. Here's how he explained why, in their opinion, that is an unfair request.
If we looked at 60-40 on a gross revenue, so that means farmers not contributing to any of the ex-mill costs. That's the freighting, the handling charges, the manufacturing allowance to make direct consumption sugars, all of the calculations that go into making it a net stripped value. That's what it means. It's the value of the sugar once you've taken out the costs associated to exporting that sugar and to producing higher value sugars, direct consumption sugars. If you do away with all those charges, that's where the figure comes from, that it would mean the mill would be subsidizing the farmers by $20 million a year. Now, I've explained already how impractical and impossible that would be because the mill has just completed 5 years of consecutive losses. So no business in their right minds would turn around and say, take this money and we'll go bankrupt. I don't think that's in the farmers' interests, and I don't think it's certainly not in the mill's interests, and I don't think it's in the country of Belize's interests. We have just over this this last crop, put $40 million into the economy of the North through the improvements in these cane prices. That's very important, not just for cane farmers. It's important for the whole economy of the North. If we didn't have a sugar industry here, well, it would be a lot more difficult for people, I think. So what we have said is, yes, if you want to go to the 60-40, that's fine, but we will pay you on the basis of the published raw sugar price, because it stands to reason. How would we be paying 60% of the benefit of the direct consumption sugar to the BSCFA if they're not contributing to its additional costs of production? That makes no logical sense. It's completely irrational, and it's, in my view, simply a way of trying to exploit the mill.
McClellan then went on to justify why they think that the current revenue-sharing mechanism is mutually beneficial and how the farmers have received major benefits from the investments they have made to improve the industry.
We, of course, have invested heavily in the port of Big Creek to ensure that those efficiencies are being passed through to the industry as a whole, including the farmers. I heard last night in the news, BSCFA chairman suggesting that we were incorrect with the figures we presented. And I can confirm to you that through that investment of BSIs at Big Creek, farmers saved $3.1 million during the cane crop that's just passed. That equates to an increase in the cane price of $2 $1.70 per ton of cane. And similarly, from our investments in added value direct consumption sugars, we made those investments on behalf of the whole industry. We invested, but everybody would share that benefit through the value share agreement. So the actual figures for that, because I've heard conjecture as well in the media that the farmers get nothing from this. In last crop, 21, farmers earned an additional $4.96 per ton of cane because of the increased production of direct consumption sugars. We hear from the SCFA that they often say that their deductions for the manufacturing allowance, it's a contribution to the cost of these sugars, which are much more expensive to produce, to bag, is going up. But what's not said is that the revenue received from that is higher still. So even after paying the manufacturing allowance, farmers are still earning, on average, the last 4 years, an additional $3.30 per ton of cane than would have been the case if we were just selling raw sugar. So all of these strategic investments have been to grow the pie, to make it better for everybody. The mill is not in a position to suddenly transfer a huge amount of money. And we've said all the way along, we can look at other formulas, but as long as it doesn't disadvantage either side. And that remains our position.
Yesterday, you heard the BSCFA chairman making comparisons between the earnings that Belizean farmers have received as compared to neighboring countries. He was making the point that in his opinion, their payment for the last crop season could have been better. Well, the millers rebutted by insisting that in those countries with higher sugar cane payouts, the farmers are more efficient and their production costs are also lower. Here's how they made that point today.
In all this discussion, all this debate about what should the mill be paying, what should the mill do, what the farmers need, what they deserve, and all. One really important thing we're missing in this conversation is the heart of the matter. The heart of the problem here is very, very low cane productivity in the cane farm and very inefficient ways of harvesting and delivering that cane. And I'll give you a couple of examples there, but the average cane yield per acre in Belize hasn't actually changed much over the last 10 years. It's still about 17 tons of cane per acre. The regional average is around 35 tons of cane per acre. Now, if you think about it, the more cane you grow on one piece of land, the more revenue you receive because you have a lot more cane and you're only putting the same inputs in to that piece of land. Similarly, harvesting and delivery is something that really needs to be completely changed and improved, because at the moment farmers have to pay a tremendous amount of money to harvest, deliver their cane, which isn't the same in other industries. So I think there needs to be a real focus in this country, in the north of the country, on how to improve the productivity on less land. So not to, produce too much cane that can't be milled, but to produce cane on less land more efficiently, because that puts money in farmers' pockets, and that then helps cane farmers become more viable. No mill in the world could subsidize the inefficiencies in the cane farm here, nor, I believe, is that a role for government necessarily.
We take a break now. When we come back, Courtney Menzies has a storm story that will pull at your heartstrings. Don't go away.
Skip the trip to the bank and perform cash withdrawals at your neighborhood store with Atla Express. Withdrawals are now free, and customers can withdraw up to $300 daily. All you need is your Atlantic Bank Visa debit card along with an ID. Atla Express is easy, convenient, secure, and near you. Atlantic Bank, building the future together.
¿Sabías que Hospital Galenia modificó los protocolos de seguridad y prevención de salud ante la pandemia de COVID-19 para evitar contagios?
Se garantiza que todo paciente que llega a quirófano está libre de COVID y durante su periodo de recuperación no va a tener contacto con un paciente infectado.
Hospital Galenia, más que un hospital.
It started innocently. It looked fun. It looked cool. But then I got hooked. And it had its downsides. I couldn't keep up physically. It started to put a strain on my life and the lives of my loved ones. And I got sick. Really sick. And I realized I was losing. But I knew what I had to do.
Join us tomorrow and get in the Settlement Day spirit with Aurelio Martinez. Central America's most celebrated parandero will perform his classic hits in an intimate acoustic set, live on Sunup. So join us at 6:30 for Aurelio Live.
It's an massive season with massive deals and rewards at Penny's. From now through December 31st, earn double P-Bucks on store-wide purchasing every Friday and Saturday. That's right, 2 times the P-Bucks, which means 2 times the cash back when shopping at Penny's. Plus, get even more rewards with P-Bucks Builders on home goods, tiles, appliances, paints, and lights. And don't forget, there's also massive deals and discounts on tiles and the best brands in paints like Benjamin Moore and BH. Rewards, deals, P-Bucks. You can get it all this massive season only at Penny's, celebrating 75 years of quality and savings.
I must be dreaming.
Oh no, honey bun, you're not. Everything you hear so far, that's true. Delta Store has a new look. Delta Store is at the same location, right down Albert Street. Delta Store has a wide variety of fabric. Delta Store offers quality and savings. Everything in a Delta Store is only $4.99 or less. Snap out of that dream and head on down to Delta Store today.
We were born connected to the water, the deep blue, the soil, the salt air, sheer abundance, ritual, water, expectation of the catch, the wind, and what lay beneath. Her rituals were lost, communities changed. But now, that song beckons us back to the sea. The generations that came before, and for the generations still to come. Thriving, abundant sea is possible. Rebuilding fish populations can be our legacy.
Please, you're watching the Nation Station. Channel 7.
It's been a little over a week past Hurricane Lisa, and a lot of residents are still sleeping without a roof or with walls and fences that were damaged in the storm. But what about those whose houses were falling apart even before the hurricane? That's the case of one man whose living conditions can only be described as dire. 60-year-old Glenn Ford Morgan's home was in ruin, and the hurricane came in like a wrecking ball. But as a sick elderly man with no employment opportunities, he has no finances or strength to fix it. Most days, he barely has enough to eat. And now, following the hurricane, he's pleading for assistance to rebuild his home. Courtney Menzies spoke with him today and has his story.
60-year-old Glenn Ford Morgan weathered Hurricane Lisa in his small, dilapidated home with nothing but a pack of bread to eat. The small plywood house stands on stilts, surrounded by garbage, and the inside looks no better. With the exception of a couple of sofa chairs, there is no furniture, just a mattress that has seen better days. And though he already had some floorboards missing, the hurricane also took his roof and destroyed some of his possessions, as well as knocked down the trees in his yard, which he cannot move on his own. And since he is unable to work, he's hoping for some help to get out of his dire situation.
I passed it on pressure. I was home when the weather came and meet me off balance. No finance or nothing. No food, one pack bread. But I well, I eat out with that, you know, and got my roof blew off, the kitchen and part of the whole entire house. Zinc, the lift up, need some new zinc. Need somebody to repair it because I can't get up there. And my mattress and radio got destroyed. Like clothes get wet up. The house, the plywood, the blow off from the east side, the back, and the zinc lift up, and one of them supposed to blow off because they have the seat. You could see it there. From here, you could see the top there, and that wet up. Just need a little help if anybody could.
But his goal is to eventually be able to earn a living for himself, like he used to when he was a cab driver.
I need to seek my own taxi, my own employment, because it's going to be hard to pay people for their car, you know. So I'm trying to get one for myself.
Morgan is pleading for any kind of help, and since he doesn't have a cell phone, his neighbor is taking the calls for him. She can be reached at 632-0919, and Morgan can be found at 73 Guerrero Street. Courtney Menzies, 7 News.
Again, that number is 632-0919. And one organization who came to offer Morgan some assistance today was HelpAge. They were doing their usual Meals on Wheels program, but this time they were providing food to those who need it most. And according to the executive director, they also used the opportunity to assess the physical and mental well-being of their clients. She told us more today.
HelpAge, we normally do a Meals on Wheels, a weekly Meals on Wheels program. But today one was a bit different. It was not only delivering the meals, but we were visiting our older persons who we offer the meals to. We wanted to observe them, how they're doing. We wanted to also assess their environment, if they had damage from Hurricane Lisa, how they are doing mentally, you know, if they have their nutritional needs are met, and to assess and observe if there are any, signs of stress or, sadness. That was what was very important. I had to prioritize because we were delivering meals to about 40 of the most needy. And the priority was to look at those in extreme, vulnerable environment. And what we saw there is just a representation of what's existing. But it was also an opportunity to be there for them, to let them know that they're not alone. And we would offer support where needed and to make the necessary referral. But it was really, really disheartening. It was kind of sad, because here they are recovering from COVID and now confronted with Lisa. And I would like to thank the neighbors who reach out. And I want to also appeal to persons across this country. There are 37,000 persons 6 years and over. And quite a number of older persons are in need of help. They need support. And I'm asking the Belizean, check with your older persons in your neighborhood. Offer a helping hand. Quite a number of them need the environment to be clean. Quite a number of them would need a little support with a meal here and there. So reach out to them.
And if you know an elderly person in your neighborhood that needs assistance, you can reach out to HelpAge at 224-5282. The government of Belize has made a global appeal for relief after Hurricane Lisa. In a letter to the diaspora and the diplomatic community, the Prime Minister says the initial losses are estimated at $10 million. He has attached a damage assessment and needs analysis, which includes food, sanitary items, stationery items, construction materials and toys, as well as common medicines. It also includes NEMO's initial situation assessment report, noting that Belize City's 94,000 residents were the most affected by the storm. It says that 500 houses were destroyed and 5,000 partially destroyed in the Belize district, and losses to the housing sector are valued at $20 million Belize dollars. It adds that the government is requesting $11 million to meet only immediate needs and to provide basic food, household supplies, and construction material to affected persons. The government of Japan announced today that it will respond with emergency relief goods, including generators, sleeping pads, blankets, and other items. And the U.S. Embassy is also coming to the aid of those who were affected by Hurricane Lisa. Today, the Chargé d'Affaires, Leila Moises-Ones, met with NEMO and Foreign Assistance Committee Ambassador Amalia Mai to deliver over $97,000 worth of essential items. The items include hygiene and cleaning supplies, first aid kits, and construction materials. Contribute to the repairs of houses that were damaged during the hurricane. The donation was funded through the U.S. Southern Command Humanitarian Assistance Program. And that's all we have for you tonight. Thanks for watching. With your news, I'm Inder Craig. Remember, you can find a full transcript of the news at 7newsbelize.com and see streaming video on our Facebook page. Have a great night, stay safe, and join us back here tomorrow at 6.